Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Backlog Banter. My name is Tucker Hazel, and this is my co-host, Aben Buhner. No special shenanigans this time. He is my co-host as usual, but we're going for a relaxed episode of Backlog Banter.
Sure.
Today, I'm putting it out there. This is a command. This is an order. This is not a request. This will be the most chill episode of Backlog Banter we've ever had, or else. But thank you very much for joining me, Abram, and for all of you watching. We're going to be talking about the video games we've been playing this last week. I'm going to sit back, relax, sip my lemonade, put on my sunglasses,
Sure.
get a tan. I'm going to
Sure.
be fucking relaxed. Summer is soon. Summer's upon us,
That is true.
among us. And today, we're going to be talking about video games.
Yes. Did you talk about the Discord like in the channel
No,
video?
I forgot about that. And I also forgot to ask for submissions again.
Oh,
but,
I forgot about that too.
It's when summer actually hits, we're going to restart the clock. We're going to actually start paying attention to our content. It's gonna be
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
But join the Discord.
Join the Discord, link in the description. But if you're watching this, you're already in the Discord because you're an awesome fan.
Let's put it this way: if you are not in the Discord and you are watching this video, then you're just having a subpar experience.
Exactly.
Because this is the most in-group show possible. And if you're on the out group, what the fuck are you doing?
Absolutely.
That's all I have to say on the matter.
I learned about those terms in sociology. Usually they connote the negative connotation, but in this case, I guess that's also true because I like the in group a lot more than the out group.
It's also negative. It's a negative drain on your life to be part of this group.
Great, that's a great point. Yeah,
I said that after they invited to join the Discord, so it's too late. They can't take it back now. There's no.
I've got a lot to
Discord
talk about
server.
this week.
Tucker, I have what I would refer to as an indiscriminate number of games to talk about.
I feel like that usually is what happens, though.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But there's one game I want to talk about that I would play in like 3 months.
Okay, all right.
Do you want to start with that one?
Is it fucking Halo again?
No, it's not Halo. Oh, but right, I can talk about Halo. It's another one.
Yeah.
Add another one to the list.
Yeah.
But no, I want to talk about Mario Strikers Charged because
No. Actually, Chart. No, I thought you meant Battle League, but you messed up the name. So.
No. Apparently, did you see the Japanese overview trailer?
No, I didn't watch it, but I've seen like a bunch of screenshots from it floating around today.
That's Donkey Kong's beauteous
Kong,
fur texture. Yeah. Not even Tron Kong. I'm talking about just the quality of those assets. Next level game is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Point is, back in the great no BLB golf that existed for a long time.
I've been missing it.
I played actually a lot of this game and then forgot to ever talk about it. So I wanted to share a couple thoughts right here because we are
it's a relaxed episode of BLB.
Yeah.
That's the title, the relaxed episode.
Sure. So battle leagues are in the corner, right? And so I want to prime myself a little bit better because I have played Mario Strikers on GameCube, and it's a fun game. It fucking annoys me a little bit just because I find the AI's ability to block the ball to be fucking horse shit.
Sure.
Now I know that that's partially because I'm not very good at Strikers, but I wanted to try Charged, and I like this game a lot.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I think so. First of all, the single player mode is very annoying.
Yeah.
Basically, how it's broken down into 3 like cups, and how the cups go is, as you might imagine, they're quote unquote tournament style.
Sure.
You basically play a number of matches to accrue a win-loss record, and then you go into elimination matches. The first 8 or so matches that are non-elimination are basically just for fun. Like, it doesn't matter what your win-loss ratio is.
Sure.
But then you get
you're gonna get into the bracket no matter what because you're the player.
Yeah, but when you get into elimination matches, if you lose a set number of those, you have to restart the entire cup.
Yeah, that's what. As soon as you say elimination, I'm like, what do you mean elimination? You're the only thing that matters if it's eliminated, if you're eliminated or not.
Yeah, it's like if you lose in the semifinals or something, you have to go back and replay everything.
Oh, even the first 8 bullshit ones.
Right. Yes. That's what I'm saying.
That's annoying.
So I think it's partially a function of the fact that the game doesn't have a lot of content.
Sure. That's a good point.
So like, hey, what's the way that we can make this last longer? Which is not good design, but I think it's somewhat excusable in the fact that like this as a local multiplayer title, there's a lot to like here because I think that the game plays very nicely with the Wii remote because it's about like fucking hitting people on the field, right? So there's something satisfying about swinging the Wii remote to like. I'm pretty sure something the remote lets to like fucking hit somebody.
Sure.
It's just a very like tactile and satisfying game.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of ugly though. I've never been a fan of the Strikers aesthetic. I think it's a little bit gross.
Yeah.
And I think when you could like pair that with the Wii era compression, it ends up looking a little bit shitty, especially on modern TV. But
I
I
don't know
think
if I've
that
ever
there's
actually seen gameplay of this game. Not gonna
yeah, it's like it feels almost like a DreamWorksy, but I mean that in a pejorative sense.
lie. Oh,
Um,
sure.
it just feels very different and not in a way that I find particularly charming.
Hmm.
But the underlying mechanics I think are actually quite solid.
Sure.
In as far as Mario sports games go, it's probably both the most competitive and the most engaging mechanically. I think Aces is the only one that really gives it a run for its money, but I think this is a really thought out foundational set of mechanics that builds upon the GameCube foundation pretty well. So basically, the long and the short of it is the issues of the game structure kind of hold it back for me, but the success of the core gameplay kind of like lit my excitement for Battle League in a
Sure.
way that it wasn't really before. Because I've enjoyed playing Strikers on GameCube with my sister, but after a while, it devolved into us just getting mad because we couldn't get a shot past the goal, which again is on our skill level. But I think it's the game I think has a comparatively higher skill floor than the other Mario sports games. But when you start to learn it, when you start to understand how to like sneak the ball into the goal, how to charge up shots and everything, it becomes I think quite compelling. So
Yeah.
having a dedicated few days with this game, I ended up understanding it a lot better. So I'm excited to try Battle League. I'm not sure if it'll hook me, but I'm feeling warmer on the series having
Sure.
played
Yeah.
Charged.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely interested to see my own thoughts on
That would make
Battle
sense.
League. Yeah.
We'll try
Uh,
it for sure.
yeah, of course. I'm gonna switch over to Gears of War, which is a game that I started before we recorded the Yes, hello,
Did
hi.
you did you what version of the game did you play?
Normal, the original one. I didn't
So
play the
not
anniversary one.
okay. That's what I was
Yeah.
curious about that.
Just because I don't know, I wanted to see how it looked on Xbox 360 on
Sure,
Series S. I don't know. I played the
you
original
would.
version. Gears of War is the other Xbox franchise, and because of that, I've been always been intrigued by it from a it's important to Xbox sense, and frankly, there aren't many franchises that are important to Xbox in the way that Halo
Yeah.
and Gears and Forza are. So I wanted to get some of it under my belt, and I played through the first game, which only took me about 5 hours. It's actually a pretty short game,
Oh,
um,
okay.
and I think it's a good game. I think it certainly has a very strong identity and
Yes.
focus. I don't know if all of that hits for me personally. I like the way that it leans into horror elements. There's actually quite a few sections that are
Sure.
are
Yeah.
are stealth, quote unquote, where you have to deal with
Yeah.
light and shadow and dealing with the enemies and hiding behind cover and stuff like that. Of course, this is the cover shooter.
Yes.
Um, and I found the gameplay to be compelling, and I find the world, the crumbled down world overtaken by the locusts, to be pretty visually interesting. I think it's a very pretty game for the era in terms of environment and
Right.
complexity, and there's a lot of variety in terms of the locations that you're going to. But there's not a lot of variety in the actual moment-to-moment gameplay, except for key segments.
Yeah.
So a lot of it does boil down to you enter a room with half high walls like Uncharted 1, and you sure to shoot the same kind of guys for 5 hours straight. But so I think it's a good game, and I'm certainly compelled enough by
Yeah.
its base level world and mechanics, and all on every element to see how the series grows and expands on the lore and expands on the mechanics and expands on set pieces and enemy variety and stuff like that. I really think there's nowhere to go but up, unless 4 and 5. I don't really know how people see those, but are somehow worse than this. But I'm interested in the series, but I don't think this game like blew me away by any stretch of the imagination.
Do you think you'll play like two?
That would make sense, wouldn't it?
I'm just curious, like, because I think Gears of War is gross.
Yeah,
I don't like
it
Gears of War at
is.
all.
It is gross.
Now this is very subjective,
Yeah.
but like I fucking hate the characters. I hate the world. I don't like chainsawing locusts. It's just like it's Doom, but in like a gross mid 2000s way.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. And I
Yes.
think that is why I don't connect to it. Like, I don't
Yeah.
love this world. I don't love
Sure.
these characters. I think what I started with is there is a very clear vision here. Cliff Blazinski wanted
Cliffy
to
B.
make a military shooter with a twist on with aliens and stuff. You're not just shooting humans. Like there's a very clear vision here, but it's not my cup of mid 2000s grungy, edgy cringe. But however, I did personally end up connecting to the characters more than I expected to. I think as you go through Well, you played like fucking 30 minutes of this game, didn't you?
I played probably 2
Yeah,
hours,
yeah.
maybe.
So you might not have even really gotten the full squad, which I do
Yeah.
think through the course of the game, I was able to find them quite endearing
Sure.
in their burly brutishness and in
They are
their
burly.
the bond that the four of your team members get over the course of the game.
Yeah.
There's some great environmental banter. They're talking to each other as you're going through different situations. So I am interested to see. I like the characters more than I was expecting to. I don't think they're
Sure.
phenomenal. I think actually the weakest link is Marcus Phoenix. He's just a military guy. But the other three around you, I think, are more interesting. But yeah, the characters I think are maybe better once you get to know them, once you get past that outer thick skin. But it's not phenomenal. Their character moments are very light. So
I like the idea that those guys are so burly because they have like this much skin. Like if you cut them, you'd have to go this deep before you like even drew blood.
Muscle and blood. Yeah, great point. Yeah.
But I think it's important like to note that Gears of War might be more significant, not for Microsoft, but for the industry and the industry's design.
Sure.
Gears of War might be more significant than Halo because like Halo obviously pioneering for LAN play and then especially Halo 2 with Xbox Live and everything. Yeah. But like Gears of War's cover system, there were of course cover-based shooters before that, like Winback and things. But
God, we're never reading Winback, you know.
Hopefully never. But I think the
I'm the kind of MF to have played Winback in my life.
You are that kind of MF.
Yeah.
But like the Gears of War feeling cover system like dominated the 7th generation into the 8th generation, and it's still kind of the staple now.
Yeah.
So it's a very important game, but I just find it so unappealing because I tried to play that Xbox One like remaster of the game.
Does look a lot better.
Yeah, I imagine it does. But like it feels of its time. It just
yeah.
I don't know.
I think my biggest critique, other than not connecting to the world and tone, on a very subjective level, is that it felt a little bit clunky getting in and out of cover, and the contextual button press of I guess the A button on Xbox of will you hop over a wall or slide into cover or get out of cover. It is a little bit clunky, but I can definitely see how with some polish it can be very satisfying, because I found myself to be quite in control of the character in a way that I didn't feel initially. I was like, whoa, taking these big swinging things, and your dash is like really fucking meaty, and like
yes, it is.
And sliding in and out of cover can be a little bit clunky, but I can see how with some polish into the movement, it can be very satisfying to dodging in and out of cover and using the dive roll and stuff like that. So
I'm sure it probably is, but I'm more of an Ironfall invasion type of guy.
I didn't get it. I don't get that joke.
That is a reference to the new Nintendo 3DS exclusive third-person shooter game Ironfall Invasion.
That's a great point.
Which is basically just a Gears of War ripoff. Now, Tucker, I want to mention that one of the main games I played last week was the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, yeah.
We are going to review that game, so I'm going to pump the brakes there. All I will say is that I both gave the game 5 stars and wrote my backlog review that it made me physically dizzy, made me incredibly anxious, so I stopped playing.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. I'm actually genuinely like stoked to talk about that fucking game.
Oh, so am I.
But we're going to table that. My next game is a question for you. Do you want to talk about Switch Sports at this juncture?
I would say no, because I've got way too much to talk about otherwise, and I think saving it for a condensed video, which will be upcoming, it makes more sense.
All I'll say is I've been playing quite a bit of it with Jean. It was a lot of fun. Played some more by myself, and I started to realize, like, okay, maybe there is actually a little bit more gameplay depth here than I initially thought.
Sure.
So I've got a lot to say about that game now. So we'll get to that. Next, I think I want to talk about Earthbound a little bit.
Okay.
I'm playing through Earthbound for a project which is unnamed at the moment, but it's the sort of game where I'm kind of playing on a back-burnered capacity. Because what I've come to realize about Earthbound is that if the gameplay was completely different, it would be one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
Which is like perhaps the biggest backhanded compliment I could possibly give. Because I'm not sure. Well, actually, Stanley Parable is one of the only other examples I can think of. I'm not sure many games have made me laugh out loud like Earthbound does. fucking love the world of Earthbound. I love how weird it is. I love it, and it's a little things. It's not just like, oh, it's like a suburban RPG. It's the fact that like you're gonna be fighting a guy called like a fucking deranged hippie, and in battle, like the deranged hippie will use his turn to like fucking file his nails or something. Has no status effects, does nothing to Ness, doesn't fucking matter one iota. It's just like on this turn he's filing his nails.
Ambuter, boy, do I have a game for you.
Don't even say it because it's on my list to play. I will play Undertale.
Undertale is literally that for the entire runtime.
Yes. And I think I actually might
with
like
better
Undertale.
gameplay.
That's actually what I was about to say. I think I'd like Undertale more because the gameplay is different, and I think in an interesting way.
Yeah.
Earthbound's gameplay is fine. The inventory management is terrible. I think that the game is,
as it is with all early turn-based RPGs.
Yeah. I just think that the game is really fucking clunky, and without a speed up button, I really wish that Nintendo Switch Online had a speed up button. Because if it did, the game would be so much more playable than it is.
Yeah.
But while the battles are funny, they also get really long in the tooth. You know, so this is just kind of the contradiction I find myself in, because playing with rewind so I can not lose battles and have to redo shit, like, it's enjoyable. I like the flow of it. I like getting more powerful and defeating enemies faster. There's very basic, bigger number, fucking brain synapse connection.
Bigger number, better game.
Yes. But it really is the narrative and the characters and the heart and the charm that pulls me through Earthbound, not the mechanics, which I think is a common sentiment.
Sure.
But that's kind of why I play it a little bit, put it down, play a little bit, put it down, because Earthbound, it's like I'm fucking doing a big marble carving. I'm just chipping away at it, you know?
Yeah.
So just a little Earthbound update for you.
That's fair. I want to lightly touch on Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, because I played this game in a small capacity alongside my girlfriend Rachel, and we started it in co-op together, and I think it's fine. I think it's kind of fun. I my favorite part are the cutscenes. And seeing Star Wars moments redone in Lego form with funny jokes. But I don't know if I personally find the open worlds to be compelling, because it just kind of felt like I needed to run somewhere else to get to what I wanted, which is the next level. And I didn't really care to do side quests, which I dabbled in it the smallest amount possible, where I was like, this just feels like filler.
They're very simple.
But so the Lego games are the kind of thing where I know it's mindless, I know it's simple, I know it's for a younger audience, younger demographic, more simple demographic, but like Star Wars fans. But I think that it's kind of like it strikes a really weird middle ground to where it's not the simplistic, it's really fun to go for 100% because I can get in and out of the levels immediately because the hub world's fucking tiny.
The game's fucking complicated.
Game's big and complicated. It leans a little too far into having the skill trees and having the side quests and the open worlds, where I'm like, oh, well, then I'm just gonna have to like grind to like 100% this. Like if I wanted to like really get the characters and stuff, and I feel like if I were to get into this game, it would just take more time than I would want it to like get to the parts where I'm really engaged by it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm compelled by this game, actually. Frankly, the more I play. So
have you been playing it?
No, not really. Frankly, I haven't played in a while. I beat the original trilogy and I almost finished Phantom Menace, and then I literally just bounced out.
Yeah.
I think it's so weird. I feel like it lacks a mechanical identity.
Yeah.
Or that might not even be right. Maybe it's more of a structural identity.
Sure.
I agree with you. I don't think the open worlds are very compelling, and I wanted the game to have a linear presence, because I think it's so compelling when it is riffing off of the Saga episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But even when it's doing that, it feels like it's just omitting so many important scenes. Like, I wish that there were not 30 open worlds, but instead.
Yeah, that was one of the things that made me like, oof. Is we started with episode 7 because that's the one that Rachel wanted to.
Sure.
And by the way, do not start episode 7 in co-op, because the person stuck playing as BB-8 is just fucked. Like they can't really do anything, and so it's like really imbalanced. And you don't get the Finn for like 2 or 3 missions, so she was stuck playing as BB-8 for a while. But then so like we were fucking around on Jakku, and I'm like, oh yay, it's the crashed fucking Star Destroyer, and like, oh, it's a little AT-AT home, and like I'm talking to the fucking Unkar Plut, who's like 1/4 portion. I'm like, oh hell yeah. I fucking love Force Awakens.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I finished. I'm like, all right. We're looking at this open world. I'm like, I just want to see what's next.
Yeah.
And so then we go to fucking Mosconautus planet. And I'm like, oh, there's 30 of these open fucking worlds. And I'm like, that's a lot. That's a lot.
That's the bulk of the development.
Yeah.
I think openly so. And it's just a different direction for this game that I don't think was the right one. Because like I'd much rather have Jedi Fallen Order be this open. And it's not. It's not a linear game, but it's more of a non-linear like Metroidvania type of deal. But like the game's mechanics and its exploration, I do not think are suited to this because it feels like a lot of like gathering. It's like this gather shit or do really simple missions.
Yeah.
I much would. You're a sick fuck, so I feel comfortable recommending this to you. I think you would actually have more fun, and you might find it an interesting exercise to go on my PSN and download Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens game, and just play that instead.
Sure.
Because that I think is better than this because it is tighter. It has a heavier focus on its linear missions, but still has cover-based shooting in some sections. Still has more engaged dogfighting missions. Like to me, that felt like the perfect blend of let's expand the formula, but still have a focus on telling this compelling linear story, putting the Lego riff on this source material. Because when they're doing the jokes and the jokes are working, I think the game was generally quite charming. But the charm is not worth the slog of the moment to moment for me. I would like to finish the Saga episodes. I do plan on doing that, but I don't see myself coming anywhere near the fucking ballpark of 100%. No way.
And most of the mindless fun that I was having with this game was smashing all the things to get the true Jedi deal, and like that's the bigger number better game kind of. I like when the studs go. But that was the most fun I was having with this game when it was outside of the cutscenes because I don't really find the even though the gameplay is more engaged. I actually never got a lightsaber. Like my characters didn't get a lightsaber, so I never tried that combat. But
that's
the shooting is basic, and the melee combat is the same as the melee combat was in the original games. I mean, it has a little combo thing, but I don't know how the combos work. So
the thing about it is not at all the same, but it might as well be. That's kind of my feeling on the combat. Like because there is like ridiculously deep combat here. Like genuinely, people made their jokes, but it is like on the level of a Devil May Cry or something in certain applications. But the game never requires that from you.
Yeah.
And it understands that it's a game that can be played by anybody. And thus the combat can and often does boil down to just mashing one of the two attack buttons.
Mashing X,
So I think you're right on a practical level, but on a conceptual level, you're wrong. But that speaks to a design issue.
Yeah, I didn't play enough of the game, and I wasn't really paying attention enough, and I was having a fun time. Like all my entertainment value came from the fact that I was playing a game with my girlfriend, and she hadn't probably played a video game even like this in years. So like it was just fun seeing her go fuck around. But like this game didn't really facilitate me any particular direction.
I think it has a lot of design issues, frankly. Yeah, so I guess next let's talk about Trek to Yomi.
Oh, let's do it. So BLB's game club game for this month?
Oh, is it?
Oh, is it? I don't know.
That'd be a great coincidence if it is. There's actually the Game Pass actually is fucking double cheeked up with a good indie selection this week. Trek to Yomi, Citizen Sleeper, and Loot River, all of which are supposed to be. Well, actually, I was gonna say all of which are supposed to be fantastic. Trek to Yomi did not review very well, as we get into, but 3 games I was very much interested in, so I'm excited to get them.
I actually have not heard of the other 2, so I'm gonna do some research after this.
Yeah, Citizen Sleeper is actually really cool. Like
I'll do my research. Talk about Trek to Yomi.
Goose.
Oh, you.
Okay, so Trek to Yomi is the new Devolver Digital joint from developer Fly Me to the Moon, maybe? I don't know. I think. I'm not sure about that, so don't quote me on it. But effectively, the game is another samurai game.
Yep.
People are trying a Ghost of Tsushima comparison, but I think that's like not even in the ballpark of accurate. It's just
because Ghost of Tsushima had the black and white mode, and guess what? This game's in black and white.
Yeah. So basically, what this game is it is a side-scrolling hack and slash, but you can move through the environment a little bit more freely into combat zones, which become purely left and right linear.
Yeah, sure. So relax episode. What's up?
Sure. The thing about Trek to Yomi is that it's not deep, and the story is not great.
Yeah.
But it's super playable.
Sure.
And it's super short. So I think that's what's going to push me through
Yeah,
the
it's
end.
like 3.5 hours, 4 hours.
Yeah, the general conceit of the game is like you are a little boy training to be a samurai, and the game begins by, believe it or not, your sensei being killed. And
Who
now
did
you
it
have to
first?
and now you have the bandits attack your village, your sensei is killed fighting them off, and then you have to basically grow up to be the protector of the village.
Yep.
And then the game cuts to modern day, and then there's like a fucking war going on, and so you have to go fight some more bandits.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm doing so far. I played probably an hour of it yesterday.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit more than that. And the combat is as simple as parry the guy when he slowly attacks you, slash the guy 2 times, and he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, the combat doesn't get a whole hell of a lot deeper than that.
Sure.
And so the game is carried by the fact that it is quite pretty. It does look like a 35 millimeter 70s samurai film.
I've heard there's a little bit of like screen flicker as well for like film grain.
There is definitely film grain on it.
That's cool.
And so it looks quite good. The combat, while incredibly simple, some might say too simple, I would probably agree. It is nonetheless satisfying to fight. And it's pleasant. This revenge narrative probably is not supposed to be pleasant, but it feels pleasant to play.
Sure, interesting.
And so it's just a sort of thing where, yeah, for a couple hours investment, I think I'll get my fun out of it, especially on Game Pass. But it is nowhere near like a technical revelation or a really compelling narrative framework. It just is a fun but probably forgettable experience.
Yeah.
Which I think is disappointing because it is so visually strong.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't do more than that. It's style over substance such a heightened degree. And I will say tons of frame hiccups on Series X, which is
the strongest console at the moment.
Yeah, which is in my opinion, I don't know. I don't know if you should be shipping your game on Series X with frame drops.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know.
It's a game that I might give a try if we go back and confirm that this is the BLB Game Club game this month. Game Club's already a fucking can of potatoes on its own. But then I'll give it a try out of fucking obligation. But
sure,
because I care about our community. Yeah.
Hey, I played the Game Club game.
Have
I ever played a Game Club game?
I don't know. There's a list of Metroid Dread, but that was like a gimme. All right. Yeah, I might come back with Trek of the Yomi impressions, but I actually
Trek of the Yomi.
Trek of the guy. I did come back with impressions of a game we talked about last week that I said I would play. That's Sonic the Hedgehog 2. What are you doing?
No, keep talking. It's a casual episode.
Oh, it's the relaxed episode. So I played Sonic the Hedgehog 2 a couple days ago, and this is, it's not news. What the fuck is happening? I don't know if this makes me comfortable.
You were playing Sonic the Hedgehog 2?
Yeah, I did. We're getting a live stripping on air, the relaxed episode.
Keep talking. This is, pretend I'm not here.
Yeah, this is the game that the first game should have been.
Yes.
Because I said last week I was impressed by Sonic the Hedgehog 1 because it sort of comes out of the gate fully formed with all of its concepts, but it falters quite heavily in what the gameplay does best for Sonic, or the level design especially. And this game is almost entirely, as I want to get into, almost entirely what Green Hills Zone did in the first game so well.
Yes.
Is momentum, is those paths, is not breaking up the gameplay with waiting around for things largely. Yeah, I think it's really fun. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Now, here's my question for you, Tucker. Because I think that this is finally the proper junction to investigate your criticism of Sonic the Hedgehog on a design level. What conclusions did you reach after playing this game?
Surprisingly less than I guess I thought I would.
Sure.
Maybe I didn't put as much thought into this until playing this game as I maybe should have.
Yeah.
But I certainly I think it's quite similar to Sonic Mania. In that the levels pretty much play the same. Well, there are a number of the levels from this game that are redone in Sonic Mania. So I was like playing Oil Ocean. I'm like, I've seen this before.
That's a Sonic Mania reference.
Yeah. But I think maybe I can't really find the levels of Sonic to be particularly memorable because while you're right in your assessment that the levels are based around free flowing experimentation with the momentum and not punishing you for finding one specific path. I don't know if that's true entirely because there certainly are paths that are more fun than others. And if you
Yes.
fall into a pit and you're on the bottom, you're like, I fucking hate this. I wish I was up at the top, or the bottom or on a different path or whatever.
Sure.
But I think it it feels like there is the design intent in terms of it being able to be free flowing, but because of that, it kind of falls into the category that I think opposite of how you feel about 3D Mario is you wish that they were more concretely designed and felt like your hand was being held through specific paths and they know this is really cool because it's designed for the momentum in this way. I often find that platform placement, enemy placement, specific level gimmicks and mechanics feel like they're just slapdash together because you can go anywhere and you might see this and you're gonna fly off and miss fucking 60% of the level.
Sure.
I find them hard to be memorable because of that. The themes are memorable, the certain level gimmicks might be memorable, the visuals, the level ideas, but when it comes to engaging with the mechanics, they kind of all feel similar in how you're engaging with the levels, and because of that, combined with the fact that it does feel like things can just be placed anywhere and it would basically end out the same. I find it hard to engage with any particular level on a more meaningful like game design philosophy level.
See, no, I think that's certainly fair. I think where I come down on it though is like ultimately I don't think the platforms are placed haphazardly because they, with exceptions as you're saying, like I think some of the like the lower third of Chemical Plant Zone, or in the latter few zones there are a couple more bottomless pits.
That's what I'll get to.
Yeah, but I think on the whole that they're not haphazardly placed because these platforms are funneling you through these different parts of the stage. And ultimately I think the fact that you don't remember any particular platform is less important than, or any particular path less important than you remembering the zone, which I think is obviously true, because ultimately you are only in any of these zones for minutes at a time.
Yeah.
It's not like you're
6-7 minutes. Yeah.
Right. It's not like you're here in Casino Night Zone for half an hour. You're gonna be in an act for 3 minutes maybe, and then it's down to the next act, and then it's to the boss, and you're done.
Sure.
And so because of that, I think like there's nothing like Casino Night Zone in Mario for something, which I mean the analogous with Mario versus Sonic. Rah. But like they are so uniquely themed and so visually impressive that I think that is where the memorability comes from, and the level design just facilitates your experience through them, which is definitely
I think that's fair. That's accurate. I think maybe just for me, I wish there was both. I wish that I was remembering, I remember that specific section of this level where I had to do this and it was funneling through this thing. That was really cool.
Sure.
And that builds to the larger thing of, I can go back and experiment and try a different way that is equally as memorable but very different. But instead of that, it feels like kind of the same things repeated over and over again. To where that it makes up a big level that on the large scale is very interesting. But from moment to moment, I'm like, I feel like I've seen this before. I know that pretty much no matter what I do, I'm gonna end up getting to the end of the level. Like I don't feel like I have to engage with the level in order to experience it. I feel like it's not entirely true, but on a sort of conceptual level, my disconnect from Sonic's gameplay is if I watch a playthrough of this and listen to the music and see this pixel art, I'm gonna be like, that's a cool thing visually. I see the momentum, but for me, it really doesn't have that feel and that personally design intent that I just wish it had, and that's just a very different design philosophy than what I'm wanting. It's a very subjective thing. I'm not saying the game is poorly designed. It's way fucking better than the first one. But I also do think that the game does falter in its last third, which I'll call the last act. Because Metropolis Zone, Sky Chase Zone, I have them actually pulled up.
Sky Chase Zone is not even really a zone. It's just
it's not. But it leads into Wing Fortress Zone, which I also don't think is very fun, and then Death Egg Zone I think is not fun at all. So which is also just a boss fight. So that's 4 zones.
Yeah, it's 4 out of 10.
It's the last third of the game. And I don't think almost any of that is as fun as the first 2/3.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. The reason I was not saying, oh, it's not, you shouldn't criticize that one because it's not a zone. I was saying, oh, you should criticize it because it's not a zone.
Oh, sure,
Like
yeah,
I would have actually liked to take that idea further because I
yeah,
think it's fun being on Tales Biplane. I think it's like the funny like the turtles riding in the turtles. I think is clever. Like there's cool stuff that happens there. But I agree. It feels like I'm not sure if the development of this game was rushed. It was a
yes,
quick.
yes, it was.
Yeah, because it's a
That's
quick
what I've heard.
turnaround from.
They had like 9 months of development time.
Yeah, it's a
They had
quick
to cut.
turnaround
They
for
had to
Sonic
cut
1.
literally half the planned content for this game.
Yeah, which is actually why I'm super excited to play Sonic 3.
Sure.
Because that is considered to be like the opus, right?
Sure.
Or
Though
what?
I do feel like people talk about Sonic 2 as the best of classic Sonic, but maybe that's just a weird skewed perspective.
I think that's partially because like Sonic 2 is so much more accessible than Sonic 3.
It's a great point.
And because Sonic 2 is also the one that Sonic 1 establishes the identity, but Sonic 2 nails the formula, you know?
Sure. Yeah. And
And
Sonic 3 might be the better game, but it's less important.
well, Sonic 3 also has like, because I bought Sonic 3, I played just enough of it to see how it functions. Because here's the thing.
Full disclosure.
Full disclosure, I played a little bit of Sonic the Hedgehog 1 this week.
Okay.
And then I was like, I've got so much other shit I have to play. I got a table list right now. But I was playing it in the 3D Classics collection of 3DS. Because I got that. It's actually a funny story. I got it from one of the like kind of funny day celebrations, and they're giving like a shit ton of codes for stuff. I managed to get a code for the 3DS Saga collection, and so I booted that up to see which Sonic games were in there. It's only Sonic 1, and I think maybe Spinball, but I think it's actually just Sonic 1. The game is fucking gorgeous in 3D. Like those like that pixel for pixel remaster and then breaking out of different planes, absolutely beautiful. So I was playing a little bit of that just to see. And then I also got Sonic 3 on Xbox.
Yeah.
Now, at front of the show, John Cartwright put out a fantastic video about Xbox backwards compatibility. And he had mentioned, I think he mentioned like, oh, and Sonic, like showed Sonic 3 gameplay. I'm like, but I thought Sonic 3 wasn't available on series consoles. And the thing is, it isn't.
But it is.
If you go to Xbox.com and you buy the Xbox 360 arcade version of Sonic 3, you can then go into your library on your Series X and download it from your purchase games.
Yeah, and the reason you thought specifically it was not available, and I'm aware of this because I also did the same thing, is it says not available, even though you can look at the page for the game on the store.
This is actually
same thing with not CD, one of the other
Sonic and Knuckles probably.
Maybe, but I think there's a couple other ones that are also.
Well, there's other games in that vein like Jet Set Radio and such. So I'm curious. I now have it on Steam, so it's not really a priority anymore. But I would be curious to know if this is like a weird exception to the rule, or if by and large, arcade titles on 360 I can buy through the store and then play on Series X.
Yeah.
Because now here's where I become a fucking creep and a loser. But I really want to play the Xbox 360 arcade remake of Mickey Mouse's Castle of Illusion, the Genesis platformer.
Yeah.
But that I believe is not available on the storefront. However, it is on the website, so I might be able to buy it from the website and then download that. But that's high risk because that's $14.99. Sonic 3 is only $4.99. Oh, so I feel like even if it didn't work, it's fine. I'll just give it a shot. Point being, a whole circuitous way of saying this. I booted up the game just to see what like the options for save states and for like the extra features were and everything. And it's very scant. But what's cool about this game, and I knew about it, but I didn't really understand it until I played it, is that there are like cinematic transitions in and out of acts that tie the whole game together, which is super cool. Like Sonic 3, especially if you have the and Knuckles part of it, is definitive Genesis Sonic. It's considered to be the best. So I am quite excited to play that when I have a little bit more time.
Yeah, I think for me, I would rather wait for Origins because it's not that far away, and I assume that will be the definitive way. We'll see. So. But now you have this as an option, and by extension, I have this as an option. Yeah. I would love to play Sonic 3. I would love to play Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I would love to learn more about how those games are the same but different. Like it's going to be very interesting to learn about this. And Sonic 2, did get me more familiar with enjoying Sonic. This is the second Sonic game I've liked. So
Good. You can also, I believe, buy Sonic and Knuckles, and then if your Xbox, if the simulated Xbox 360 hard drive detects the fact that you have both Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic and Knuckles, it will digitally fuse them in Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
You got close to that thing, but yeah.
So I think I'll actually do that because I think it's only $2.99.
Yeah.
I just farted. I don't know if my mic picked that up. I should have. Next time I'll bring the mic down to my behind.
You're dairy air.
Yeah.
You just made a little bit of dairy air. You know what I'm saying?
Anything else you want to say about Sonic 2?
No, I was actually going to throw that same question your way because I was re-listening to our discussion last week in which we started talking about Sonic 2 and then we fucking spun off to other things. You didn't actually talk about why you loved Sonic 2 or like its design or anything. You're just like, yeah, I think it's better than Sonic 1.
I don't know. I feel like I've mostly said it in response to stuff you said.
Sure, that's fair.
But I just love the zone theming. I think it's what I've been saying about the good Sonic gameplay, the momentum leading to the different paths and everything. I think that I did say it, but I do like it's just we've talked about Sonic so much.
Yeah.
Like in such a short period of time.
Yes.
That like
this is our Sonic era.
Yeah. So let's talk about more Sonic if it would oblige you.
Oh Christ.
I played Sonic Triple Trouble.
Oh, that's fucking right. Okay, I need to go download the logo for that game because guess what? We've never talked about that game before.
Yeah, believe it or not, we have not talked about Sonic Triple Trouble on the program.
I'm a kind of MF to have played Sonic Triple Trouble at some point in my life.
No, I'm the kind of MF to have played Sonic Triple Trouble, and I'm here to report about it.
What?
So Sonic Triple Trouble is the marquee Game Gear Sonic title.
And now, by extension, the marquee Game Gear game.
Yeah. There's a shit ton of Sonic games on Game Gear. Sonic Drift, Sonic 3. I think Sonic 3D Blast is also on Game Gear.
Maybe a port. I don't know.
Sonic Labyrinth might be on Game Gear.
Sure.
But Sonic Triple Trouble, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt is on Game Gear because I know that's Game Gear. But there's also, I believe that there's a Tails game on Game Gear.
I'd never heard of that. Interesting. All right, I'll do a little research. Start talking about Sonic Triple Trouble.
Because this is a relaxed episode. I think.
Yeah, it is a relaxed episode. I need to reel it in a little bit. You mentioned a Tails game for Game Gear, and I started getting a little riled up. And it's the relaxed episode, so I need to calm down.
Right. Keep it between the navigational beacons here, as Jimmy Buffett would say in the outro part of one of my favorite country songs is 5 o'clock somewhere.
I don't know what that is.
It doesn't matter. It is a Tails game, right? Called
Tails Adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I want to say it's a shmup.
Continue talking about fucking that.
But now I'm too interested. I want you to tell me what. Can you go to the
Tails Adventures? No, it's a platformer.
Oh,
it's like not like a Sonic platformer though. It's like a platformer.
Yeah, I had it in my head for some reason that
the game cute. I like Tails sprite.
I had it in my head.
No one talks about this fucking game.
No, I had it in my head that you are like in his biplane, like shooting shit. But I guess that
might be a section.
Can you look up the HLTB for this game? Tails Adventures HLTB.
Adventure HLTB. 4.5 hours. Okay. Oh, that's way longer than these other fucking games. I
want to play Sonic Pocket Adventure.
All right, well, let's move on to Triple Trouble.
I don't have a Neo Geo Pocket Color.
That's a great point.
So Sonic Triple Trouble. This game. This game reminds me a lot of Super Mario Land 2 with the 6 golden coins.
Oh, hold on. Okay, fucking HLTV is stupid. Tails Adventure long play on 100% on YouTube is an hour and 16 minutes.
That makes a whole lot more sense.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Now that game's on 3DS Virtual Console. I might actually play it when we finish this recording session.
God, I love this. Fucking BLB is great. God damn it.
Yeah. So I played Sonic Triple Trouble. Sorry. I played Sonic
Triple Trouble. That's how I usually start most of my first dates, you know.
And it reminded me of Super Mario Land 2. The reason it's this is because it is so impressive that it's on this piece of hardware.
Yeah.
The game really does, in large part, retain Sonic the Hedgehog Genesis gameplay, movement, feel, aesthetics on Game Gear, which is obviously basically just like a portable master system in large part. So through that lens, I think it's quite impressive. And I think it's quite compelling to have this experience on the go.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, no longer anything more than a novelty. But nonetheless, it was cool to see like, hey, I can imagine this game came out having this in my hand.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, even far more impressive experience than having Mario Land 2 and its analog to world in my hand on the Game Boy. But I think it's that novelty that in large part carries this game, because the level design I think is fine, but it suffers from what a lot of handheld games suffer from, the converting platformers from console to handheld, that the sprite's too big on the screen.
Sure.
So it becomes you kind of lose track of where you are, which can be tricky, especially because I think the last couple zones are not that great. But nonetheless, I think the game has a lot of really good moments. A lot of interesting theming. Like there's an ice themed zone that I really love a lot. And like you're on like a fucking snowboard for part of it and stuff. Like there are cool ideas here, cool motifs. It's a pretty faithful conversion of what Sonic is. And I like having the classic Dr. Eggman design here, and Knuckles plays a kind of plays a big role in the narrative.
The Triple Trouble story. Everyone's always reviewing it.
But I think on the whole, it is fun because I am a dweeb and I care about game history, and I think it's compelling to see this was the Mario Land to Sonic, and so from that lens, I enjoyed it. It's super fucking short. I beat it in a sitting. You need save states to get to some of the bosses. I think are kind of horseshit, but for what it is, I think it's worth playing.
Yeah.
But for what it is a serviceable platformer.
Sure. Yeah. So. I have no comments on this. Again, I am the type of MF to have played Sonic Triple Trouble at some point in my life, so you'll get a BLB episode where I fucking talk about this game.
Your lawyer told you not to comment on Sonic Triple Trouble.
But I did anyway. I'm just a rapscallion. Let's move over to another platforming mascot. Some might say just as iconic, if not more iconic, than Sonic the Hedgehog.
Croc?
No, I was going to talk about Little Big Planet 1. No, Sackboy is an iconic character. I'm joking about being as iconic as Sonic. That was a little joke of mine. But so Little Big Planet is fascinating because when I first got into learning about game history outside of Nintendo, my experience was solely predicated around PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Not because I had the game, but because I learned about it and I'm like, there's another Smash Brothers. And it has all these characters that I'm not familiar with. And that's pretty damn cool.
Sidebar, have you ever played that game to this day? Because I haven't even.
I have. I've never particularly long, but I own the game on PS3. I actually own 2 copies of it. I don't know how that happened, but I have the game and I've dabbled in it. But I don't have 2 PS3 controllers, so I've never played it multiplayer. And the game's not very fun single player, especially because I don't know how to play the game. But so I always saw Sackboy as the Mario equivalent for PlayStation. And I think for the PlayStation 3 generation, it basically was beginning PS4 with Little Big Planet 3. And I really wish that Sony had leaned more into Sackboy as their premier mascot for the company going into the PS4 generation, because I think that the Sackboy and the Little Big Planet world is so insanely charming and creative. Yeah. And it has so much potential for expansion, and the fact that this game, I'm not playing the online player created versions, but was based entirely around player connectivity and creating worlds and sharing them years and years before Super Mario Maker.
So I have a query for you then.
Yes, a query.
What were you actually like? Is there a campaign for the Big Planet one?
Yes, there is. There's a whole set of designed levels by the developers with fun little level themes and little gimmicks and stuff like that. But absolutely, there's a full campaign game here, and that's what I'm playing. And that's what I will beat when I get to it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a really competent 2D platformer with a lot of fun. But it all comes from the visual charm, the conceptual charm, everything being arts and crafts little versions and stuff like that, and contextualizing everything in the world of hanging on chains and being made of paper and nuts and bolts screwing everything together and stuff like that. This game is really really fun. I don't think it's because Sackboy controls particularly well. He's very slippery.
Yeah.
Any platforming that you for whatever reason have to do, and that's not particularly common, is kind of janky because he is very slippery. But I just really like Little Big Planet and Sackboy, and the fact that part of the game is talking about that it's a game and there's a narrator, and Sackboy controls a big PS3 controller when you're selecting the levels, and you have the ability to control both of his hands. So he's just like, he can do this, you can do this, you can do a little dance. You can make him smile, you can make him frown, you can make him be scared. Like, there's so much animation in this little world that they've created, and the context around it is that when we dream, our dreams filter up and create these worlds. So you're playing through the dreams of people, and it's all about imagination and stuff. It's a lot like Multiverse of Madness.
I was gonna say dreams.
A lot like Dream. Media Molecule. You're fucking copying yourself.
Molecule.
But yeah, I'm also excited. I have access to Little Big Planet 2 and 3. I'm very interested to learn more about this franchise. But I just think that the way that it exists as its own thing, it has like this Sony charm to it that some Sony games now are mostly the mature versions, but this has a Sony creativity to it that we don't really see as much anymore. And I just wish that it stuck around more and that they used him as their Mario.
I think Astro is better, so I'm not sure. Like, I think they found something stronger in Astro. Personally,
I disagree.
Sure.
Because having played Astro's Playroom and loving Astro's Playroom, I do think that's a better game because it's newer and it's better controls and it references PlayStation history. Like, all those things about it I think are great. But from a design perspective, the simplicity of Astro's characters and stuff I think has its charm, but the world being made of arts and crafts and Sackboy being so much more animated than Astro is, and the concept of it being within the dreams and having player created levels and stuff like that, I think does work a lot better in terms. It is a lot more unique than Astro is.
It's definitely higher concept for sure. I think I just like where I come down on it is like Sackboy is cool, but it always like it never really felt like it fit within PlayStation's ethos. But I don't really know if PlayStation had an ethos in that generation. They're kind of just doing whatever the fuck they wanted.
Yeah.
But I would say in the context of the modern
is the Little Big Planet is that. It's the epitome of that. Is do whatever you want. Experiment, creativity. Like, that was the ethos of PS3 was all these new IPs, crazy ideas, smaller games, stuff like that.
Sure,
and
that's
Little
a good
Big
point.
Planet, I think, carried through the entire generation with how important Little Big Planet 2 and 3 and the version on PSP and the version on Vita and the karting game. Like, yeah.
Or let's put it this way, I suppose. I think Sackboy had his time.
Sure. That's a good point.
Because he really did, when you put it that way, he really did not carry the generation, but fill the generation with a lot of software.
Mm-hmm.
There are quite a few Little Big Planet games, but when I was looking at the PS5 launch lineup and thinking about where Sony is now, Sackboy's trip to the city and Sackboy's Trouble and Astro's Playroom, like the ethos of the technology focused, cutting edge, bleeding edge PlayStation. I think Astro fits really nicely into that, and so is the counterpoint to everything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
I end up feeling like Sackboy feels more like a relic of his time.
Sure.
But that's not a commentary on the quality of the games, because I actually would like to play them. I played some of 3, and I thought 3 was okay, but 3 is not made by Media Molecule.
Mm-hmm.
I'd really like to try one of their ones. But I also really want to play Sackboy's Triple Trouble, because I'm always down for another 3D platformer.
Yeah.
By the way, if you notice me looking down for a little bit, it's because I had to
go buy and download Tails Adventure for Game Gear on Nintendo 3DS.
I had to complete that purchase. Let's unwrap it together. Unboxing.
Oh, it's got a little Game Gear. That's fun.
Yeah.
Ever seen a Game Gear in real life?
Yes, actually.
I don't think I have.
My aunt had one.
That's my biggest character flaw.
Mine actually is I don't have a Virtual Boy.
God, don't make me do it. Don't make me fucking search for a Virtual Boy.
They're way too expensive. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the problem.
I don't like spending money. I've got two other things that I want to talk about.
I have two other things I want to talk about.
Fucking look at us! Holy shit!
Take it down a notch.
That's a great point. It's a relaxed episode.
All right, is it my turn?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Halo Infinite for a minute.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, because Halo Infinite Season 2 finally released.
Yep.
And I played it.
Oh. Don't get too excited.
They've just fucked the game so badly. Like I don't know what else to say about it. Here's the problem. Season 2 includes a new narrative event.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Which is interesting, but the narrative event, what it boils down to is here is a narrative framing for why you're playing multiplayer matches now.
Okay.
So it's more of a season introductory cinematic.
Sure. It's actually exactly what Overwatch is entirely.
Yes. But I think the problem is, unlike Overwatch, which is always what it's PvP.
Yeah, sure.
I think there was an opportunity for this game to have not a Destiny structure, but a Destiny-esque PvP or PvE component, which could have been built upon by narrative events.
Yeah, right. Of course.
or if you want to make it solely multiplayer, make the narrative more centralized, like Titanfall 1, which I know turned some people off from the game, but would give you narrative as you're like flying onto the field for the match, right? Like they did some because that game didn't have a campaign, which obviously it's not the case with Halo Infinite, but they found interesting ways to integrate narrative into multiplayer matches, which I thought was always compelling. I would have loved to see Halo do this because it ends up feeling hollow to me of like, okay, yeah, you're giving me new story stuff, but no real way to explore it. You're basically just giving me a reason to play multiplayer.
Yeah.
And I didn't need that, you know? Yeah. So
and is that the main crux of Season 2?
No. So there's a new battle pass, which I purchased.
Should you have unclear?
Maybe. Well, because I like playing Halo, and I think it's $8.
Yeah,
and like
I won't make fun of you too much for it. But imagine it's fucking 3 years from now. I'm like, remember.
But at that point, I'm $16 into Halo Infinite. That doesn't feel too bad.
Great point. Yeah, of course.
Because I'd like to earn the cosmetics. Maybe this $8 will allow 343 Industries to hire somebody who can manage the studio. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the last $8 I need. But what it brings a couple new modes and 2 new maps.
Okay.
But the problem, because of the way Halo Infinite is structured, is it gives you an arena map and a BTB map.
Yeah.
So really, there's 1 new map
for
2 different silos of content.
Sure.
The major new addition is a new mode called Last Spartan Standing, which is a fucking hoot and a half, but it's only on the new map Breaker.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Basically, what Last Spartan Standing, because this requires a little bit of a bigger map. I'm curious if after the limited time event happens, if they'll just bring Last Spartan Standing to the BTB maps or something.
Sure.
Breaker is smaller than those, but I think BTB maps would kind of fit this a little bit. Basically, what it is you're there. You can't queue with anybody. It's solo players, 12 solo players. You each have 5 lives. Yeah. When you deplete those lives, you're sick. If you get killed the 6th time, you're out of the game. So it's a battle royale of sorts.
Sure.
But how it works is every kill grants you experience, and it's like battle royale plus Call of Duty gun game. So as you get this experience, you get new weapons, so you get stronger. And then there's various equipment points to go fight on the battlefield. When you get deeper into the game and somebody's killed, their AI companion shows up as bonus EXP, so you can run over and try to claim it. But then somebody can kill you easily. Like it's a compelling riff on a bunch of concepts.
Yeah.
And it's a fucking blast. But it, like everything else out of Halo Infinite right now, is like fucking bottlenecked by how little content there is.
Yeah. I just came up with an interesting comparison. This feels a lot like how Smash 4 handled its fucking 8-player levels. Yeah. Just because it limits you to certain things. I don't know. I just thought about that.
No, I think that's fair, but I think the difference is that there was no shortage of stuff to do in Smash Bros. 4.
Yeah.
There is a shortage of stuff to do in Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
And look, when there's issues with progression, I'm like, okay, fine, the progression system's kind of fucked, but the gameplay feels so fun, and at that time, everything about it was fresh.
Yeah.
But now, okay, yeah, you've revamped the progression system. You've given me a new battle pass, but I don't want to progress if there's not new things or a lot of
Yeah.
things for me to experience. Like I can play Splatoon now consistently, Splatoon 2, and still have fun. It's the same content I've been playing for years, but there's just a lot of it now.
Yeah.
But there is not a lot of it in Halo Infinite.
Mhm.
So I find myself in the position where we're like, yeah, it was fun to get back into the game, and I think I will couple days a week pop into it, play
Sure.
more, get some new shit from my Spartan, just enjoy that gameplay formula more. But it's just inescapable. The game honestly should have launched this holiday season.
Yes. 100%.
It just should have.
Absolutely.
And the fact that Microsoft could have taken the hit. If you can, delaying the game out of launch year was a problem.
Yeah.
Delaying it out of year 2, by comparison, doesn't fucking matter.
Mm-hmm.
They should have just launched it in year 3 when the game was done, because the game blatantly isn't done. Campaign co-op is delayed. Campaign mission replay is delayed. Like these are just fundamental features, and they're just not here. So it's too bad. The game remains incredibly fun.
Yeah.
I remain interested in playing it because its mechanics are so good, but it is just not where it should be.
That's Halo for you. So we're here to talk about Box Boy, because I've been knocking off my purchase list that I have for the Nintendo 3DS downloadable games. The eShop about to fucking die in like a week or whatever, so I'm probably gonna have to go do another pass with my credit card, swipe it to my 3DS, and just drain my bank account. But so Box Boy, I played Box Boy and Box Girl last year, if you remember me talking about that. And
which one?
Yes, I thought that was pretty fun. But I think that Box Boy 1 is a lot better because it's so much more condensed. And I think it has a lot more variety. So I actually ended up finding the Box Boy formula a lot more compelling. This is the basic concept of your Box Boy, and you make little boxes, and you can squirt them out of you, jump on top of them, hang off of them, all sorts of stuff. Yeah. And the fun thing about this game, and I think why I ended up beating it in like 2 or 3 sittings very, very quickly within a day, is that it is based around very small worlds. So a lot like one of our collective favorite games, Yoshi's Crafted World, it never stays on one idea very long. Completing a world, which is like a set of 6 or 7 challenges, is like 25 minutes, and it plays out whatever the gimmick is of that set of levels, and you move on to something else, and you're always trying something new. So and because of that, it also is not a very long game. It took me less than 4 hours to finish, and I think that's the perfect length. You can go do some bonus worlds after you beat the main story. You can go do challenge mode and like score attack or something like that. Try to get through levels faster. But yeah, I think it's a very charming game. It's very simple, but I think it knows that it's very simple, and it's cheap, it's quick, and I had a lot of fun with it.
This is really interesting because I thought what you were going to say is, yeah, this game feels boring in comparison because Box Boy Box Girl is so iterative. I figured that it was just going to be like, this feels too basic.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that maybe it's not basic, it's just less diluted.
Yeah.
And so
it feels very focused.
Sure. Maybe, well, I'm not even going to say it because I'm not going to go out with fucking Box Boy. I'm going to tell it on my 3DS that I just illustrated, but no, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, what are the ones in the middle?
Bye Box Boy and Box Boy, which is a stupid fucking name.
Do you think you're going to try this?
Now, here's the moral conundrum of One Tucker Hazel. There's certainly a point in my life where I'd like to have beaten the entire Box Boy franchise, which means that I will have to buy them relatively soon.
Right.
And I believe they're more expensive, so that's like a little bit annoying, and I don't know if they're as good. Like, I'll do my research, but to be honest, I'll probably purchase them, even if I don't play them imminently, just because I don't know how 3DS emulation is on PC. 3DS, DS, there's a few systems that I'd rather have them on actual hardware. I'm not worrying about buying a lot of the games that are on Virtual Console, because if it's NES, SNES, GBA, Game Boy, I am fine with emulating those personally. But games designed for the hardware, for 3DS,
sure,
I think I'd rather have them on my 3DS, which means I'm going to have to bite the bullet within the next month/extended period where I might be able to tangentially purchase them.
Yeah. I think where I'm starting to come down on it is like, ultimately, these downloadable only Nintendo 3DS and Wii U games are cool, but they're just not important to me.
Yeah.
My philosophy, I think, is because even though the day is going to come and go where you can use a credit card soon, but you can still add funds like through a Nintendo card or whatever, which is way less ideal, but that's probably what I'm going to do because I don't feel like dropping a lot of money right now. I can't really afford to do that. But when I go back through, I think it's going to be for virtual console games personally, just because again we've litigated this issue, but I'm not big into emulating them. I'd rather play them on actual hardware. So I'm much more interested in like doing things like what I just did and getting Tales Adventure, things like that.
Yeah.
But there are a couple games like that I would like to get. Like
Yep.
I would like one of the Dylan games. I would like stuff like that. But in the case of Box Boy in particular, I feel like I get it. You know.
Yeah. And also you have Box Boy. I feel like I think you should play it less than 4 hours.
Yeah.
I know you love QB. I think that for its simplicity and its puzzle platforming stuff, it's a very good game. I actually do recommend it quite a bit, especially because of how short and condensed and focused it feels.
Yeah, no, I played quite a bit of it back in the day. I mean, I must have gotten close to beating it if it's that short. I don't know what I was fucking doing. Okay, but yeah, I like that spirit of experimentation. Like that was cool on 3DS. But we're fucking back against the wall. If I can either buy Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers for $40 or like what 8 like Game Boy and Game Gear games, like that's probably what I'm gonna do instead.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate Nintendo's put us in this position at all. Because in an ideal world, I would like access to Sonic Drifts 2 and Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers without having to compromise one for the other. But
yeah,
that's a different conversation. I have one game left.
One more game from Abram Buhner.
That game is the reason my 3DS is in my backpack right now at all. That is Kid Icarus Uprising. Now, Kid Icarus Uprising, for another thing I'm yet to disclose, it's a game I have to finish finally. I've never finished it. I've played an acre of this game. Like, I've played a lot of it. You know what? Fuck it.
Get the actual thing, because 3DS has a great clock where you are allowed to check how much you played.
Yeah, 3DS actually tracks your stats adequately. Yeah, here's the activity log. But the point is, I need to finish the game finally. And I've replayed the first 5 chapters so far. There's 25 chapters. It's not a long game, but there's a lot of content in it, as with most Sakurai experiences. And the thing is, I just remain so impressed by this game. But the controls are just such a big hurdle for me right now.
Yeah.
And it's just making it really difficult, I think, unfortunately. Not because of any fault of the game. Okay, here, let's play it. I have played 16 hours of this game already. I actually would have thought it would have been higher than that, frankly, because I first played the game on 4/19/2012. I actually thought I would play more than, but it doesn't matter. The point is, the game is incredible. I was saying this to Martin. If this game had released on Wii U instead of 3DS, I have no doubt that it would be in my top 5 games of all time.
Yeah.
Easily. But it just does not control well. And that is such a hurdle to me. There is no comfortable way to play this game. If I had a smaller 3DS, I think it'd be less of an issue. But it is so cumbersome to do this. Because you basically have to claw grip it. It's not just that you're holding the 3DS with one hand. It's that you're shooting here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that because you have to use the bumper. Yeah.
You have to use L to shoot, and you're moving with the stick here. So I'm like, you're doing something like this, and then I'm trying to aim. Yep. So what I've been doing either is I just like put it on my lap, but then like how do I hold my hand? The point is the platform choice, and I would love to hear. I'd love to hear why Sakurai put it on 3DS. I wonder if this was like because it was 2012 game, right? So, pre Wii U, but it could have obviously they knew about the Wii U several years in advance, right? So I wonder if the sort of thing where they were told, "Hey, you need to make a huge blockbuster game for 3DS," or if he chose to do so. Because if he chose to do so, I think he didn't kill his own game because it's so fondly remembered, but he certainly killed its playability. Because there's no doubt in my mind if this is a Wii U game, first of all, it would be widely considered to be one of the best Nintendo games of all time. And it would be on Switch because I guarantee you, as fucking clear as the day is long, that it would have gotten a deluxe port.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just unfortunate that a game of this magnitude is turned on 3DS because it's so weird to see a Nintendo game with this level of production value.
Yeah.
This script, these incredible voice-acted performances, these huge operatic cutscenes and set pieces.
Yeah.
This wealth of content, single player, multiplayer. It is an incredible, genuinely incredible game, but it just does not play right on 3DS. And it's just so unfortunate
Yeah.
It's so unfortunate.
I'm definitely going to be interested to hear your thoughts when you've finished it. I think
Yeah.
maybe I would want you to maybe save your thoughts for once you've completed the experience and like
Sure, I'll do
settled
that.
on everything. Like, where does the balance come down?
Yeah.
Obviously, you like the game a lot, but do the controls hold it back from getting a good score? And I think that would be fair because
Yeah.
playing a game, being able to play it is very important. So I don't know. It's a game that I've played a little bit of. I think maybe I just thought that it was really long because it certainly feels very grand and epic
Yeah.
and such. And I just don't know if I really care. Also, I don't really know if the on-rail shooting aspect of it and the like on the ground pit running around aspect of it, like I don't know if I ever found either of those gameplay styles particularly compelling. But it's a game
Sure.
I'd like to go back to and just understand it better because it's such a peculiar part of Nintendo's history. I also think that you're talking about it killing the game and its long term popularity. I think it killed the Kid Icarus franchise because I think if you put this game on Wii U and then you port it to Switch, there'd already be another big Kid Icarus game, like or there would be a spin-off or like more focus would be put on this series. And I
Yeah.
think this was this was Kid Icarus's chance to come back and be something really impressive, and it was impressive,
It's a very impressive
but
game.
it doesn't. You're not making another Kid Icarus sequel. Like I don't know.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I think this is the most impressive 3DS game. Period.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think there's a more impressive game on 3DS than Kid Icarus ever has been.
Mm-hmm.
But it is just like it is so far beyond that it's just not on the right platform.
Yeah. Oh well. Let's talk about a game that fits very well on this platform. And actually, fuck you, two games. I'm going to be talking about both Dr. Mario Express and Dr. Mario Miracle Cure.
What platform?
Sorry. Dr. Mario Express is a DSiWare game,
Yeah.
and Dr. Mario Miracle Cure is the 3DS Dr. Mario game. And Dr. Mario Express is one of the most underwhelming video game experiences I've ever had. Not because it's a bad game, but because it is the exact same as the NES game, but with better visuals. There is literally the same amount of content and options and song choice,
Yeah.
and it's just it's a remake of the first Dr. Mario, and of course, Dr. Mario puzzle game, kind of hard to continue to iterate in any particular way, but obviously it's possible because Dr. Mario 64 and Dr. Mario Miracle Cure do it. So Dr. Mario Express is very, very peculiar. I also think it's the first, one of the first DSiWare games. Period. So it's certainly, and it's also very cheap. So it fits this like you want to play Dr. Mario on your DSi. Great, download this for $6 or whatever.
I have
And
two questions.
yes,
Is it a literal remake? Like, are the puzzles the same as the NES one? Do you know?
well, it's randomized. So
It's randomized?
it's a fucking puzzle game. It's like what pieces are you gonna get in Tetris? Like
No,
if you,
I mean the order of the viruses.
there's not puzzles. It's a randomized. Dr. Mario's a randomized game. It randomly generates a field of viruses for you to clear.
Those aren't crafted stages.
No,
Dr. Mario NES does not have a finite ending.
no,
I
it's a
did
puzzle game.
not realize
It's like
that.
Tetris. Yeah,
I was under the impression they were all like, I guess I'm fucking stupid.
yeah. No, you choose a difficulty, and it randomly generates a certain amount of viruses for you to clear at the speed that you choose, and you do your best to clear them with your skill level.
No, that's true. You're right about that.
Yeah, yeah. But
You're
here's
right
the
about
thing: it's possible to do designed Dr. Mario stages
Yeah.
because there is the campaign in Dr. Mario 64 that has designed stages,
Right.
and also Dr. Mario World. There's a huge amount of levels in that game, and Dr. Mario Miracle Cure has.
Hold on. You're going too fast. Dr. Mario World. What is? Oh, is that the mobile one?
That's the mobile game,
The
which,
mobile
by the
one,
way,
okay.
phenomenal fucking game. I love the game so much. Also dead, gone. They
Yeah.
deleted it. Can't fucking play it anymore. Really makes me sad. I was really into that game. Also had great online and lots of unlockables and lots of fucking customization. It was fucking great. But so that's very disappointing. Dr. Mario Express is fine because I like
Right.
Dr. Mario.
I have a
But
second question about that though.
yes,
Like, there were several Express DSiWare games,
yes.
but then there was a bigger version. Like there's a Puzzle League Express and then a full Puzzle League
No,
on DSiWare?
there's not a full Dr. Mario.
Okay, that was my question. Okay.
There's and maybe that version is the only Dr. Mario game that I have not played outside of the spin-off Dr. Luigi is Dr. Mario RX Online, which is a WiiWare game.
Great game.
Are you serious?
No, I'm not playing
Okay, fuck you. I actually don't know anything about that game, so. But Dr. Mario Miracle Cure is a Dr. Mario sequel. It has new ideas. There's bombs that'll drop. There are virus pills that'll drop. That'll clear all the viruses of a certain color. There's
Miracle Cure?
Yeah, it's a 3DS game, and there's a very small amount of crafted levels, but there's beginner levels, advanced levels, and tutorial levels that are sometimes Dr. Mario stages and sometimes Dr. Luigi stages. This is actually also a Dr. Luigi game. And then there's the normal Dr. Mario mode, which has even more options. So it's just interesting to me that Dr. Mario can be more, evidenced by Miracle Cure, which exists and has crafted stages and more mechanics in terms of these different things that'll drop. But so I'm really enjoying that game, and I'm going to play through all the crafted levels and maybe dick around in the normal mode for a little bit. But Dr. Mario Express is just more Dr. Mario. And that's okay because I like Dr. Mario, and actually I was getting into the flow pretty good, and I played it for like an hour straight, and I'm like, oh, where did I come from? I was in Dr. Mario world. I was clearing viruses with pills. But yeah, I also made a Dr. Mario ranking because now I realized I've played 5 Dr. Mario games.
That's incredible.
A lot. But there's also Versus Dr. Mario, which is just like an updated version, the NES version for the fucking Versus system. And there's a Game Boy version of the first game. There's a LCD watch version of Dr. Mario. There's Online RX and Dr. Luigi. So I'll probably play Online RX and Dr. Luigi at some point. But then I'll have played every Dr. Mario game, and that's really fucking satisfying.
That's very interesting to me. I'm very glad you brought this to my attention. Because because I just didn't realize Dr. Mario was so sprawling. I kind of thought that all of them were basically like Dr. Mario Express. They're basically all the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And no, you're totally right. I think I was just getting confused because the last we talked about Dr. Mario, you were talking about the campaign.
Yeah.
So no, but of course Dr. Mario's randomized.
Yeah.
Of course.
The main mode of Dr. Mario is randomized.
Yeah.
Certain games have certain modes that are not.
Right.
I think playing Dr. Mario on the NES or playing any multiplayer battle mode, you're going to get randomized viruses that you're going to have to complete. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you've just been flooding with such Dr. Mario and getting it's all running together in my head. So
I haven't talked about fucking Dr. Mario in like 8 months.
I know, but you are so I'll never forget. I wake up in the middle of the night with chills thinking about you talking about Dr. Mario 64.
Which, by the way, I still contest is the best game in the series. I think that having the campaign, even though I thought it was kind of bad, with the little cutscenes that are ridiculous, it definitely has the most unique visual style. So yeah.
Is that appreciated opinion? Because I thought for some reason people don't like Dr. Mario 64, and I mean people in the royal people sense.
It's an underappreciated opinion because no one plays that game. No one cares about that game. It was the last Nintendo published North American N64 game.
Oh wait.
What do you?
There was not Dr. Mario on SNES, right?
There was, but it was in the Tetris and Dr. Mario collection.
Right, because
so it's the exact same game as the original.
Yeah.
It's not I don't even think it's like really remade for SNES.
But then Dr. Mario 64 has 2-player multiplayer, right?
Yes.
But then
so does the NES version.
No, but the reason I say this is because Nintendo Puzzle Collection has a port of Dr. Mario 64 in it.
Yes.
With 4-player multiplayer.
Yeah. Oh, is that true? I don't know if the first game has not 4 or not.
I know. I don't think it does because I think the reason that version, that version in the Puzzle Collection is special is because it has 4-player multiplayer.
Sure. Yeah.
Because otherwise, it is just a port.
Yeah.
And then it is a Japanese pound upon.
Yes.
In the Puzzle Collection, is a port of the one I think from Super Famicom.
No clue.
With 4-player multiplayer.
Unclear.
But the game also has a full remake of Yoshi's Cookie.
Yes. All great news for people who care about Nintendo's puzzle games.
Only released in Japan on GameCube. Yeah, maybe I'll buy a copy of it.
That'd be very interesting. But yeah, that's your little bit of Dr. Mario for the week, which by the way, is the name of Dr. Mario Express in PAL regions.
Is that true?
Yeah, all the Express games are called a little bit of Dr. Mario. And guess what? That's fucking accurate.
That's not a game title. Like I don't think you're I don't think you're lying to me, but that's just not a game
I believe
title.
there's also an ellipsis. It's a little bit of ... Dr. Mario.
Sure.
We're done
Tucker,
here.
this
Are
has been
you
a
feeling
really
relaxed?
this has been a really interesting episode of Backlog
Oh
Banter.
my god, yeah, it fucking has. We like keeping things spicy here.
Or not, conversely not. Sometimes we keep them mild.
That's a great point. Summer soon.
Next week I'm gonna talk about
Tails.
Crazy Taxi.